So next we have my beautiful friend, Elena Shane, who's going to tell you the story about one of this year's victims, Yang Song's of New York.
Okay, so on November 27th, a 38-year-old woman named Yang Song fell to her death from the 4th floor of an Asia Massage Parlor in Flushing, Queens. And we know very, very little about this. The information that is known is gathered by journalists through this Injustice Today report and corroborated through her mother, who came over from China to bury her, and her immigration attorney. So what we know is that Yang was arrested and charged with prosecution on September 27th, 2 months before her death, on a vice sting rescue operation in that building. We know that after that happened, she called her mom and said that she was harassed by the police. She told her that a man that claimed was a police officer flashed a badge at her, made sexual demands. Quote, her mom said, "I asked whether she satisfied this demand. She said, I did not dare to. He pulled out a gun." Quote, she also told me that when he got what he wanted, the police officer said, "If you report this to the police, I would," and he threatened her, "and if you don't report it, I will protect you." So you see constantly his work with victims of sex trafficking, people who are being policed. This binary of either choosing to be the victim and playing along with the sex trafficking narrative or being further criminalized. Before the fatal sting this November, her mother also said that Yang reported, quote, that police had asked her to become a confidential informant on other masseuses in this same parlor. They said, "We can pay you, but you have to sign a contract with her." Yang, the woman who died, was hesitant, according to her mother. She told the police, "I don't want to do this, I don't want to stitch." So we don't know much about how she fell from this window, but I think it's pretty clear that it's this escalating pressure and surveillance and criminalization on behalf of people who are being targeted for doing this work. But we also know that she worked a whole slew of jobs, not just as a sex worker. She worked jobs, low-wage paying jobs in the restaurant industry. She worked at a foot massage salon, and later learned of doing full-body sex work through a friend. And I think that this is important because oftentimes the narrative will frame sex work as like one single type of job, the worst kind of job that somebody can do. But what's repeated by sex workers all over the world over and over again is that they're working a whole slew of shitty jobs and working conditions that nobody seems to care about. That anti-trafficking abolitionists are not trying to improve the conditions in like kitchens in Flushing, but they care so much morally about sex and when that happens. And so you see the escalation of the policing of sex. Here in Rhode Island, a real aggressive crackdown also on Asian massage parlors has happened since 2014. Back there when we were doing research, Asian massage parlors, there were about 50, and in 1 year of aggressive Providence Journal articles about this and sweeps of the police. They closed down all these Asian massage parlors. At one point there were only 2 remaining. And I think when Bella and I did research or did outreach to these spas, we also found that the predominantly Korean and Chinese immigrants who were working there really didn't want to see us. And we took a step back because they were responding to really like decades of being not just policed, but also being approached by civilian do-gooders who just wanted to rescue them. And one of the longest histories of this dates back to 2002, where a group of seniors at Brown University mobilized young white men to go down into Asian massage parlors in downtown Providence to do vigilante sting operations as part of a senior project.
Wow.
They would record this information, give it to the police. That spa ended up being shut down, and that organization ended up receiving a senior year social enterprise grant for $15,000 to go on and start a nonprofit organization that would grow to be the nation's largest anti-trafficking organization. So here, and it's called the Polaris Project. It runs the nation's anti-trafficking hotline, and it was started right here. And I think that story sheds light not just like on a history of not only policing through everybody from ICE to local police enforcement, but like the role of everyday civilians, the real emotional attachment that people have to stopping human trafficking. And I think the story also sheds light on something that we haven't yet heard about yet, but how trafficking in Rhode Island, and it's talked about amongst Americans, really profits off of a memory of Black suffering. So that the people who started that project called themselves modern-day abolitionists. And when they talk about the founding of their story, they talk a lot about sexual slavery and how, in being students at Brown University, they thought about the complicity of the university in the historic transatlantic slave trade, and they thought that this is their moment to recuperate that sense of guilt and to like step into the moment of like current modern day slavery. So you see the emotional rhetoric of like historic Black suffering being used, but never any attention to the consequences that the policing has brought to communities of color, and I think under raids of sex trafficking, most detrimentally to Black trans women. Walking in public, sometimes not even sex workers, but just the policing of Black trans women walking in public who are arrested for being sex workers. And so I think just in tying all of that together, the work that Coyote is doing with the Moor is fundamentally important because it is the need to connect the sex worker rights movement to the broader movements against racism, xenophobia, and policing. And it's clear that we can no longer like approach these communities because they've been so overburdened, and so these traditional modes of like reaching out don't work, and so we might have to go a different way. And then, just to give you a sense of where anti-trafficking is now in Providence, it really, in 2016, Sojourner House won a federal Victims of Crime grant award of around $400,000 to open 2 victims of trafficking shelters right here in Providence. Those shelters are only for cis women who will agree to leave sex work and will agree to like participate in a whole roster of programs that will rehabilitate them out of this troubled past. So therein you see the inherently, I would argue, like transphobic leanings of the anti-trafficking movement that are fundamentally invested in the binary of victimized women and the men of color who are taking advantage of them. So you'll see Providence Journal frequently putting the photos of men who were arrested in these John raids, and they tend to do these in communities of color and